everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Rebecca McLaughlin-Duane, and this week we're retracing the footsteps of Abu Dhabi's royal family, the Al Nahyans, right here at the capital's original urban settlement. And it's a place that is today one of the most important cultural sites for the emirate. It is Qasr Al Hosn. A little later on, we'll familiarise ourselves with the UAE's national bird, the falcon, and visit the biggest falcon hospital in the world right here in Abu Dhabi. It's a place that treats around 12,000 birds every year. But first, since Qasr Al Hosn was first constructed in the early 1790s, it's been an important defence and lookout post, a home to the ruling family and the seat of government. Now, 11 years after restoration work was started, it's become a national archive. Pinpointing the place where Abu Dhabi transitioned from a tribal community reliant on fishing and pearling in the 18th century to the metropolis we see today is Qasr Al Hosn. The site is the capital's oldest memorial to its past, having been built around the 1790s, when the Al Nahyan tribe relocated the seat of power from Liwa to Abu Dhabi Island. The structure was built to overlook the coastal trade routes and protect the growing settlements established on the island, and one of its oldest permanent constructs is a watchtower. The community at Qasr Al Hosn continued to expand, and land was distributed to Emirati nationals under the reign of Sheikh Shakbut bin Sultan Al Nahyan from 1928 to 1966, and for 38 years after that by the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. And in 1990, the discovery of corrosive moisture within the walls of the settlement triggered a conservation plan. Restoration work was turbocharged in 2007, and today tourists can tour the living quarters of the royals who used to dwell here. Relics from the past sit side by side with modern sculptures by Emirati artists. And celebrating the traditional crafts of Bedouin women is the House of Artisans, where Emiratis demonstrate tali embroidery, the weaving of geometric fabric called sadu, and the braiding of date palm leaves to make baskets. The mission of Salama Al-Shamsi, who oversees the narrative of Qasr Al Hosn, is that not only will the renovated site be a must-see for global travellers, but also through its calendar of cultural events throughout the year, provide a place for the local community to come together, just as they did on the same spot hundreds of years ago. Salama, a very warm welcome to Inspire Middle East.
Thank you very much for being here today at Qasr Al Hosn.
Thank you for having us. Now, Abu Dhabi has for some time been keen to market itself not just as a tourism destination, but a cultural one. How does Qasr Al Hosn fit into that strategy, and how are you engaging the public?
We are striving to have Qasr Al Hosn the first stop of every visitor who visits Abu Dhabi. And as you can see, the Qasr Al Hosn today tells the story of the development of Abu Dhabi city as a political place, but also as a community place, and also as a place that brings people together.
With so many experts having worked on this site for the past 11 years, not least the archaeologists, what were some of the most fascinating artifacts or treasures that were unearthed?
We do discover, like sometimes even on a daily basis, like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful archaeology material. One of the highlights of me since I joined Qasr Al Hosn was finding a well just 2 weeks before the opening. And it's actually on the other side of the fort, and it's well protected and preserved beautifully.
Did you make a wish in the well? This is a tradition from the West.
Well, I do believe in wishes as well, so I will go together and make a wish later.
But I don't imagine that the development and restoration of a site like this was without its challenges, right?
Well, as you can see, like the oldest building here is the watchtower, the historic watchtower, which was built in the 1760s to protect the settlement. And for me, working on the content and the narrative of Qasr Al Hosn, this was the most challenging in terms of what can we offer for the visitors once they enter the watchtower. So there is a very beautiful, subtle experience once you enter with light and sound, which I think is very powerful.
The new museum chronicles the past lives of the tribes that used to live here. What do we now better understand about the times and the tribulations of the sheikhs and the sheikhs who made this their home 250 years ago?
So there you will learn about the political aspects of their lives and how they developed and protected Abu Dhabi and transformed it into a global city. What did they do in their daily lives? What did they like to eat? What was the rituals, daily rituals and wedding celebrations? What did they like to read as well? So all of this you will be experiencing in the outer palace of the fort.
The role of Emirati women is particularly interesting. Tell me, what did they like to read? How did they spend their time?
They used to oversee the housekeeping of the full house when the men were out fishing or pearl diving. There is a story of also, for example, Sheikh Hagout bint Shakhbout, she was the first woman to drive in Abu Dhabi, and she used to actually teach the men around the fort to actually also drive. So it's one of the interesting stories as well.
A majlis has been restored here, and it's a place where hundreds of years ago issues of the community would be aired in front of an audience with the tribes, the royal family. What were the pressing issues of the day back then?
If you look at, let's say, the 60s, for example, before the United Arab Emirates, or before having ministries and, let's say, a number of schools or number of healthcare institutions and all of that, these were the most topics, let's say, like we need more hospitals, or we need more roads, or we need more lights in the street.
How viable is it for the Emirates to bring back traditions like Sadu weaving, but on a commercial scale, to make them business entities?
We are striving to have it commercialized very soon, but you can also see the Emirati designers who are already starting to use traditional crafts and traditional weaving into like daily wear or furniture or even stationery, and the people are very much interested in that.
Salama, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for speaking to me today.
It's my pleasure indeed, and thank you for coming to Qasr Al Hosn.
Now, for around 4,000 years, Bedouins in the UAE and the wider Arab Peninsula practiced falconry. Back then, it was for hunting, and today it's for sport. Salim Said went along to visit a hospital that plays a key part in the breeding and rehabilitation of these beautiful birds of prey.
Meet 8-year-old Falah, a sacred falcon who's visiting the unique Abu Dhabi Falcon Hospital. She's brought in by her trainer, Qasr Al Hosn, after she broke some feathers in a bird fight the day before, losing her ability to properly fly. Yet with a process called imping, specialists measure a replacement feather for size and color, which allows her to spread her wings, balanced once again. Qasr says he brings Falah here because family deserves the best care.
At the end of the day, the falcon is a part of you. It's considered like one of your children. So the most important thing is that their treatment is the right one from the right doctor.
At the hospital, trainers can treat their falcon to a trimming session to sharpen their claws and beaks, improving their ability to catch and eat their prey. But also for more complex procedures, such as endoscopic surgery, to remove worms found growing in falcons' lungs. Dr. Margit Müller, a veterinarian originally from Germany, says that the establishment of a hospital like this nearly 20 years ago has allowed falcons to recover from ailments they couldn't before, such as diseases or physical injuries that would normally result in their death in the wild.
Well, the old lifespan was between 12 to 15 years, but because we are conducting all these routine examinations, now we have falcons that are already 18, 19, 20 years old.
The hospital is the largest institute for falcon medicine worldwide. With more than 100 staff members, they treat thousands of falcons a year. They also rehabilitate other injured birds of prey and have their own aviary, with a hotel where parakeets and other exotic birds can shake a tail feather to musical melodies. Yet as a result of urbanization, falcons have been electrocuted by power lines, starved due to herbicides killing their prey, and are even contracting human infections, contributing to what is placing the sacred falcon, revered in the UAE, at risk. Falconry is one of the factors helping sacred falcons like this one get off the endangered species list. And in the Gulf, the practice of training these birds is an important part of their heritage. For thousands of years, people from the region used falcons to hunt for survival. Yet today, competitive racing has taken off as a popular sport. encouraging the breeding of falcons and their release back into the wild. I traveled to meet one trainer who has been working with falcons for more than 35 years. Between the cooler months of September to March, and at the crack of dawn, Khalifa Al-Kandi takes his cast of about 100 falcons to these sandy fields in Dubai for conditioning, to build strength and, of course, speed. His falcons compete in about 6 races per year, and their training is intense, using drones and remote control planes to give a technological boost and develop their workout. Like any athlete, their food intake and weight is monitored. Each falcon has a device attached to them which records their speed and distance to document the progress of their training. In addition to spending time, Khalifa also has to spend money on falcons, which he buys from breeders in Europe known for their quality birds. He says their cost can range from $1,000 to $100,000, but it's worth it at the end.
It's the happiness we get from winning. So once I feel I won and I'm happy, I forget all the work I've done the whole year, and I forgot all what I spent.
Khalifa is subsidized for the falcons he purchases as a member of a government team. He trains both Saker and peregrine falcons, common to the UAE. The peregrine is considered the fastest bird on the planet that can travel more than 300 kilometers per hour while diving. And paired with a vision to spot prey from more than a kilometer away, they make dangerous predators, but also fierce racing competitors.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. Before I say goodbye, here are some social media posts of UAE residents and visitors who paid a flying visit to the capital. Niall from the Philippines uploaded this photo of Qasr Al Hosn at dusk, saying that the venue was the perfect harmony between the past and the present. And UAE resident Glenn from England took this snap with a hawk called Villain following a training session in the desert.